Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skyazrael.com. Let's talk about survivor's guilt. Survivor's guilt is kind of an aspect of PTSD where you survived, others didn't, and you feel guilty about it. It's weird because you actually feel guilty that you lived. It's not that you're suicidal, although self-destruction can be an aspect of PTSD. In fact, it's a common behavior of someone who has PTSD is to be self-destructive, and that self-destruction can be displayed in many different ways. But it is almost like you wish that you had gone down with the ship instead of jumped in a raft. You wish that you were in one of those graves too, right next to your buddies. The fact that you aren't 6 feet under, you aren't the sixth grave in a line of 5 or whatever. It can torture some people. Military people go through this. It is common for them. But not only military people, anybody who's gone through a death can feel this. Natural deaths, you can also have a survivor's guilt. Husband and wife, been together for a long time. The wife dies. The husband lives on and may feel guilty about going on, may deny himself love and kind of stop his whole life, and he's healthy. He has many years ahead of him. It's this survivor's guilt that debilitates many people. I knew a guy who had it, guy I didn't like, although I felt sorry for him. I had a buddy of mine who hung out with him that I did like, and I never understood. I was like, why you hang out with that guy? It was this dude, Corey. I never liked Corey, and Corey wasn't a bad guy. He was just a rich boy, brat. I just didn't like his attitude. He just rubbed me the wrong way. I just didn't like him. And my buddy Anthony was respected, known in the streets. Rest in peace, Anthony. And he was hanging out with him a lot. They were buddies, they were bros. Corey had one of those IROCs. This was back in the 80s. He had a convertible IROC. And they were speeding and driving drunk or whatever, you know the story. Car flips, everybody in it dies, but Corey, there's a whole car full of people. Anthony, he died. So many people showed up to his funeral. He was beloved. Anthony was beloved by everyone. I never met anybody who didn't like Anthony. A lot of people blamed Corey. Corey blamed himself. He lived. Corey lived. He's the only one who lived. He was driving. It was his fault. I know what it's like to have survivor's guilt only because I've watched so many of my friends and colleagues, people that I've associated with, I've watched them die. Literally, I've watched people that I know die right in front of me. Closer to me than this camera is. But I lived on. I lived on and I thrived. I'm doing the best that I've ever done. And it's weird. I remember I was up on campus. I was going to college. I went back to school when I was 28 to get my degree. So I had spent 10 years from 18 to 28 just dicking around, and by the time I was 28, I said, okay, I'm going to go back to school and try to get a degree, and I did. I was up on campus, and I had a friend of mine who was Israeli, who had been in the Israeli military, as all Israelis are. They have conscription there, which isn't a bad idea if you think about it. I don't know if you know what conscription is, where it's mandatory service. It works out in some countries. I think it works in Israel. Men and women, everybody serves, everybody. But he was done with that, and he was in America, and going to school, and we were up on campus in the cafeteria, and they have TVs there, and we were watching TV. It was in between classes, and there was some kind of military action, typical bullshit between Palestine and the Palestinians and the Israelis, and it was reported right in front of us that a certain battalion of Israelis had been hit close to the border, and there were casualties and whatever, and I kind of tune out. I don't really care. I've been over there. I didn't care when I was over there. People are trying to get me to care, and I'm like, look, y'all look the same to me. But he was really upset that his friends died, that his friends were casualties of this attack, and he was crying in front of me. And I was trying to figure out what's going on with him. And I mean, I understand that it's emotional to see your battle buddies under attack, but his main thing was, and he kept saying it over and over again as he sobbed, was, I should have been there. I should have been there. And he felt bad that he chose to go to college, that was selfish, and he should have been there. He should die there. And I was like, you're choosing death. You chose life. You can't be mad about that. Your choice is going to lead you to greatness. You did your time. You can't. But he was just lost in this. I should have been there. I should have been there. I should have died with him. Let me get my water. I don't know why I put my water all the way across the damn table. It's important to have the right perspective as we go on, as we move on from death. We watch others die around us, and we go on, we live on. Why did we live on? Is that a torture? Is that a curse? It's a gift. You weren't meant to die. Not everybody is meant to go the whole distance with you. Never forget that you're an individual. Even though you may identify with a group, you may be part of a team, part of a family, you're an individual. Your journey is yours to take, not others. The way that we honor the dead as warriors is not to ruin our lives, not to live in misery. Imagine if you had a conversation with anybody that you know that's dead. Do you think that they would want you to live every day in misery? Do you think that they would tell you and instruct you to cry? Look at pictures of me and cry every day. Put pictures all over your mantle and all over your house of me and cry. Cross yourself and say a prayer all day long every day for me. And when that one song comes on, make sure that you break down and sob. And any kind of movie that reminds you of me, make sure that you break down and don't move on, don't love again. Would they say that to you? Would they say shit like that to you? No, they wouldn't. Imagine a conversation. It might be a healthy experiment for you. Imagine a conversation with one of these people that you feel guilty about. Imagine a conversation with the dead, not that they're alive again. It's just a thought experiment. Imagine talking to them from beyond. You somehow had the power to talk to a dead person. Maybe they're in heaven. What they're going to tell you is to move on, to live your life. You deserve love. You deserve greatness. You deserve happiness. Don't let my death stop you. Learn from it. If somebody talks bad about me, sure, maybe you can keep the loyalty going and to defend me, but it doesn't even matter. All that matters is that you need to move on successfully. And my death has nothing to do with you and your feelings and your ability to move forward. So get rid of that guilt. Get rid of the shame. The way to honor me is to be the greatest version of yourself that you can be. That's what they would say to you. It's all food for thought. Thanks for watching.